Howdy, I'm Chef Nancy and welcome to Family Friendly Foods. Today's show, we are going to make a German dinner, and it's going to have pork chops with a good rub on them, homemade applesauce, homemade Spatzle, and we're also going to make some red cabbage. Okay, we're making some applesauce, homemade applesauce. I make it all the time. What I did is in the bottom of here, I melted about a stick of butter to 4 good size
apples.
Apples.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's all right. That's
red things.
Those red spheres.
Things. And what you're going to do when you cut it, you're going to cut it on one side of the core, and then on the other side of the core.
Right.
We're just taking it around to where it's flat. And what's left, you can eat.
Fantastic. May I do that now?
Yes, ma'am.
Nice apple.
It is a nice apple.
Doesn't matter. I really like homemade applesauce.
I
wondered, can I use apples that are maybe getting a little soft, or does that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
That's fine.
But
you want to make sure it's apples that you would eat.
Yeah. But I think it's a good way to use up some apples if you happen to have them and
exactly.
not waste your food.
No, you never want to waste your food. And this applesauce is so simple. And we're going to use the immersion blender again. All right, now I've got my apples, and I'm going to put them in, and I'm going to cover them and put them on the back burner really low.
Okay.
And what I'm going to do to them is I'm going to add a little bit of sugar. Now I've got a half a cup here. I'm not going to add all that. I'm going to add about maybe a 1/4 of a cup, because you never know how sweet the apples are. You can always add more. And then I'm going to add my good cinnamon.
And good cinnamon is constituted by?
Well, it comes from like Vietnam's, like Saigon.
Asian countries.
Asian countries.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to put the top on.
Do you get that at Value Market? Is that where you get that kind of?
Yeah, you can get it. Yeah, Value Market's a good place to get it. Value Market's a good place to get anything. All right, now, I'm going to put this on the back burner and let it go. And what I'm going to do is start making my Spatzle dough. And I'm going to talk to you about doing the rub on the pork chops.
Great.
Okay.
And I have no idea what Spatzle is, so this is going to be exciting stuff. I'm assuming it's a noodle of some type.
It is a noodle.
Spatzle noodles.
It's a German noodle. Now you want to start this applesauce real low, because you want the apples to start letting their juice out.
Okay.
And don't put too much sugar in it again, because you may not need it.
And again, you just have butter in there, sugar, and cinnamon. All right.
Right. Okay.
Moving on.
Over here, I made a rub, and you can make it with whatever you want. I use salt, pepper, garlic powder, some paprika. And what this is, and you can, Ms. Dash makes a lot of different salt-free herb blends.
Okay.
Just whatever you want. And what I'd like for you to do is put a little bit of oil and rub it on each side with your finger.
Okay.
And then put the rub on it. And we'll let that sit for a few minutes. And I'm going to get a bowl and start making some Spatzle.
So tell me about Spatzle, because I honestly don't know that I've ever heard of Spatzle before. Watch out for those flying pieces of equipment over there.
For real.
And I've never made pork chops in my life. So this is new for me.
I can't believe your family doesn't eat pork chops.
Never had. I don't even know if I've ever had a pork chop. Hey, Chef Nancy, does it matter how much I put on here? Is that too much?
Just make sure it's in every bite.
Okay.
All right, that's good. And then turn it and do it on the other side.
All right. That's good. That's a good little rule of thumb. Enough for every bite.
Now, I'm doing 1.5 cups of flour. And this is just like making any other pasta. Okay, I've added 1.5 cups of flour, and I'm going to make a little divot in there. You don't have to. And I'm going to put an egg, large egg again, and another large egg, 2 large eggs. And then I'm going to stir it up from the inside out. And I'm going to start out adding about 1/3 cup of water. And I'll explain how you know how much water to add here in a minute.
Can I ask a question? Why
Yeah.
do you start from the inside out?
Just, it makes it easier to bring it all in the middle.
Okay. Things you learn.
Things you learn. Now, at this point in time, you want to get your rubber spatula. And if you, you've got greasy fingers.
Right, but
Watch
have a
this.
towel right here.
I can reach it. Kind of. All right, now, as you can see, this is too stiff.
yeah.
So I'm going to keep adding a little bit of water at a time. And the whole idea behind this, Kirby, is we're going to push it through a colander into boiling water to make the pasta. So we
Now, I've always heard that pastas, the name of different pastas, like
like orangetti,
yeah,
or
penne, I was going to say.
bow tie.
Yeah, that it's because of the shape.
Right.
And so Spatzle is just the shape, or is it that we push it through a colander?
Well, they used not push it through a colander. They used to do it off the cutting board with a knife into boiling water. But now I'm going to need all 2/3 cup.
I guess it's really important that you start with too little water and then add.
Because
the other way around.
different times of year when it's really humid, you know, you just never know. And you want to be able to push it through the colander into boiling water. And I'm going to see, and different flours, that's not right.
Different
Flours.
types of flour
Yes.
or flour.
I'm from Kentucky.
Yes.
My flour. All right, this looks like I can push it through. I might add just a smidge more water.
All right.
If you would get it for
Sure,
me.
sure. Here's a smidge.
A smidge. All right, and we're going to add a smidge. And I'm going to add a little. I added a lot of salt to the water. Why? Because you want your water to be like the ocean.
So you're saying you added a lot of salt to the water that's boiling.
Right,
Okay.
that I'm going to push this through into.
Okay.
Then after we get it all pushed through, what we're going to do next is we're going to take it out. Got a colander set up in the sink.
Okay.
We're going to pour it in the colander, run it under cold water to stop it from cooking.
Okay.
Then we can use it right away. You can freeze it. You can refrigerate it. You've got fresh pots.
Wow, this is way easier than I thought. I don't know.
This
Well, I don't
is
know. I can push
almost
it
at a boil.
And you did put a lot of salt in that water.
I did.
So
Salt it like the ocean.
okay.
Okay, and
She
that's,
went
that's
like-
the trick. I didn't get crazy. Well, maybe I did.
Yeah, there was a lot of. So
All right, let's see if we're boiling. Okay, now we've got our boiling water, and I'm going to put our pasta into this colander, put a little bit at a time, and I'm going to push it through. Oh, come on, loosen up.
Wow.
Yeah.
How could you do this by yourself?
Well, you can. I could have made this a little bit looser.
Okay.
So, actually, my colander has bigger holes than this one, to be honest with you. Now, if you get some big pieces that go into the water, that's okay. You can just cut them up. Like that.
Okay.
It'll cut up. In fact, we may end up having to do that. Let's do some thin pieces like this.
Some ribbons.
Ribbons, yeah. Make them thin, and I'll just chop them up. Or I might have you chop them up.
Whatever, I'm here to help.
Okay, you can hang on to that.
Okay.
But usually if you've got a colander with bigger holes, or you can make this a little bit smoother. Oh, whoops. Okay, we made a mess. That was fun.
That was fun.
Now,
Yes.
I'm going to take this over to the stove here in a minute. Sink, got it on the stove. I'm going to take it off the stove here. Okay, here I come with the hot spatzle, and I'm going to pour it in the colander and let it drain. When it starts to float, when the spatzle starts to float, it's cooked. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to keep running cold water on it till it cools down, just like if you're cooking regular pasta.
And you didn't have it in that boiling water for very long at
No,
all.
as soon as it rises, it's fine. Now I'm gonna let this cool off here and drain some.
Cool.
And then these big pieces, like this, I'm gonna cut up. And the way we're gonna fix this for our dinner is we're going to put it in a skillet with some butter, and we're going to fry it so it gets a little crispy on each side. Okay, now we're going to get our Blaukraut on.
Our Blaukraut?
Our red cabbage. Now, some people cook this with the apples. I prefer applesauce.
Okay.
And way back when, we did a show where we did a red cabbage and apple salad.
It was delicious.
It was delicious, and it was a takeoff on this.
Okay.
So I'm going to cut this. If you cut the red onions,
Okay.
and you want like one small red onion, not that small. All right, now look. Start there. Hold it.
Okay. Oh. It's about the angle.
Well, it's about just going forward. Now you want to take the core out of the cabbage, and this is a half a cabbage. And these end pieces, I usually cut up a little bit more because I hate getting one big huge piece in my mouth. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my cabbage in there.
Do I need to move faster?
No, and then I want you to break those onions apart.
Should I cut them like this?
No,
Okay.
we're just going to cut them a little bit thinner.
Sure.
And we're going to kind of break them up in there. I'll let you do that.
Sure. I'll do that.
And what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of water. We don't need a lot.
Okay.
Maybe a half a cup. Okay? And then I'm going to put them on the burner. And once it starts to cook down, I'm going to add, instead of doing red wine vinegar, I'm going to do balsamic vinegar.
Why?
Because I really liked the taste when I tried it last.
Okay.
Here, let me cut these up for you.
Thank you.
Okay.
I like how you just sort of change your recipes to what you figure out tastes good. You don't get stuck with a recipe. You're like,
Well,
maybe I'll try this.
I don't like red wine vinegar, and that's all I had growing up. You know?
Where's red wine vinegar?
Yeah, I mean, they had red wine, apple cider, and white.
Well, yeah. So
You know,
many
that was
vinegars
it.
now.
So we've got this.
Okay. Ooh, this is starting to get my eyes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just pick the rest up and throw it in the top.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I'm going to put this on this back burner, and I'm going to take this applesauce lid, because that applesauce is going to be ready for us here in a minute.
And what are we looking for with the apples to know when they're ready? I mean,
Just, they're ready to smash.
okay, they look really
Okay, now I'm going to get my grill pan.
Oh, for the pork chops.
Yes.
And you like a nice cast iron skillet, it looks like.
Well, what we're going to do is I'm going to brown the pork chops on each side with the rub, put it in the oven. Now I've got the oven only at 300. These are thin chops. They'll be done in about 15 minutes.
Okay.
Okay? Now I've got my chops that Kirby put the rub on, and the rub can be anything you want. This is something I do. You can buy a rub. Be careful with the salt though. If everything has salt in it, you're in deep doo-doo, because then it won't taste so good. So what I'm going to do, I got hopefully my skillets. I've got one of these iron skillet grill pans. So I want to mark it. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it down, and it's going to sizzle. We're pretending it's sizzling. All right. All right, now, once it marks on one side, I'm going to turn it to the other. And it'll be almost cooked through. So we're going to do that. And in the meantime, I'm going to let Kirby set up the immersion blender to make the applesauce. Now you'll notice how liquidy it got.
Very liquidy.
All right, now stop it, lift it up, push it back down. Now, yeah, keep going like that to get it. Now, I leave the skin on my apples.
Me too. Dang.
I don't know why you're having so much trouble.
I don't either. What? Do you have any advice for me? Ow.
Well, here, let me see. Let's see what's wrong.
Maybe it's turned up too high. I did the hard part, and now you're getting away with.
I don't know why it's doing that.
It's all soupy, isn't it?
Well, it's supposed to be. It's applesauce. You know, this may be up too high. You're right.
Oh, there,
Look
now
at
it's like
this.
applesauce. It looks like German applesauce.
Yeah, it's nice and it's red.
It's thick, little chunky.
You like it chunky? I do.
I do too. This is so much better than jar applesauce.
Sauce. Now, I'm going to grab a spoon.
Look at that. It's a little too chunky.
And let's see if it needs any sugar.
Sugar.
Hey, sugar. No.
Perfect. If you do say so yourself.
Okay. Now, when the pork chops are marked on one side, see how they're marked? I'm going to turn them over, and I'm going to stick them in the oven at this point. And they should be done in about 10, maybe 15 minutes. All I need is my handy hot pad. And the oven's on low. Oven is on 300. Those chops will be done in just a few minutes. I'm going to check my cabbage because I need to add my other ingredients to it. You'll see it's starting to cook. When it gets like that, I'm going to bring it over here for right now. And I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of sugar. I mean, you don't need a whole lot of anything. A little salt, a little pepper. I'm going to add some ground clove, and I just want like 1/4 of a teaspoon, or 1/8 of a teaspoon. What do I have here? It's 1/4. That's what I thought. Now, I want about 1/2 cup of vinegar. You can always add more. Again, you can use red wine vinegar. I just prefer this balsamic. I'm going to take it. I'm going to mix it up. Oh, yeah. I don't know if y'all can smell that or not. I'm going to put it back on the stove and let it finish cooking. We're going to be able to fix our plates in a few minutes. All I need to do is fry some Spatzle. Okay, the Spatzle that I didn't get through the holes,
Yeah.
that came out kind of big, I'm just cutting it up.
So everything's fine. It doesn't have to be little tiny perfect.
No, not at all. That's
Pieces
the
of
whole
pasta.
idea behind Spatzle.
It kind of looks like its name.
It does. I don't know what it means in German, though. But I love this. And the only place I know where you can buy Spatzle in a restaurant is at Eiderdown in Germantown.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
That's a good restaurant.
that's a fun restaurant. Okay, let me see.
Is this something I could help you do while you're doing something more important?
Well, what I would like is if you would do this, cut these big ones up,
Sure.
and then we'll put them all back in this bowl. I gotta steal a bite.
It's pretty good. I've had a few.
Just make sure you put nutmeg in it because it really kind of kicks it up a notch.
And you put nutmeg in it. Did we put that in? Well,
With the flour.
with the flour. Okay. I think if I made this, I would just throw it in the pot like this and then cut it up afterwards. It seems easier than pushing it through that colander.
It can be.
What are you doing back there?
Well, I'm going to heat up some butter
Okay.
in a pan to cook some of this Spatzle.
Spatzle looks a little like chicken fat.
Well, it does look like chicken fat. I never thought about that.
Maybe that's what spatzle means.
I don't think so.
Okay, now I've learned from you. I'm going to go like this. Using the back of my knife.
Well, if you make it thinner, it'll be fine. Make the dough thinner.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay, now I've got my butter melted, and I'm going to do some Spatzle. Put it in the pan, and you hear it sizzling. Oh, this stuff is so good. I love it. And we're going to get ready in a few minutes, and we're going to plate up our food. All right, the Spatzle's starting to get a little bit of color on it.
A little brown, yeah.
So let's go on and get our chops out.
Cabbage smells fantastic. I think it's done.
I think it is.
Okay.
You want to bring it over here?
Certainly I do.
Why don't you sit that there?
Okay.
And,
Here, do you need your tongs for your...
well, what we're going to do is get the chops out. Oh, look at those chops. And they, whoops.
Perfect.
And they are done. You can see, it doesn't look clear, but it is clear. Liquid
Yeah?
from the, means they're done.
What clear liquid?
Well, I know it doesn't look clear because it's got the rub on it. See that liquid coming out?
Right. That's
Yeah,
how
and
you know.
See, yeah, that's
Okay.
how you know. Okay, Kirby,
What a meal you've created for
look
us.
at what we got. And it didn't take any time at all.
No,
And
it
a
was
lot
fun.
of the stuff you can make ahead of time, like the Spatzle. You can make the applesauce ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
I like to reheat it because I like my applesauce a little warm.
Oh, it's so good that way.
And see how pretty the pork chops look?
Mm-hmm.
And they got done in no time at all.
Those are quick. And then this cabbage
Cabbage.
looks great.
Oh, and
And
it
it
tastes
smells
good.
so good.
It's like a little sweet and sour, which you see a lot in Germany.
Well, I think I can't wait to taste it.
Well, I'm telling you, there's no time like the present.
Let's do it. I'm going to have a little taste of this right now.
Cabbage smells so good.
It's always so nice spending the afternoon
Oh.
with you.
Oh, good.
That is delicious.
I like
I
it.
can't wait to do this again sometime.
All right, try the
Having you cook
crispy
for me.
Spatzle. I'll have my cook for you.
All right, let me move on to the Spatzle. So, I didn't know how the Spatzle was going to go. If we were supposed to eat it with the cabbage or by itself. It's just kind of a little...
The
Crispy
cabbage
treat.
is your carb. Mm-hmm. And then I always eat my applesauce with a bite of pork chop.
Well, we'll need a knife for that unless you want to just eat it caveman style.
No, I don't think we'll do that.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think that's a delightful treat. That could be a
And-
dessert. So good.
And it's easy to make.
I'm going to combine them all. Thanks, Nancy.
Thank you, Kirby, and thank you. We'll see you next time.